Good everyone, today's video. Today we have a subscriber request by BertiBert, if I have it on my notes correctly, for the Ki-108, and this is a plane that I haven't flown in an awful long time. Now, when I actually started spading it, it was Jenga who actually posted a video on this aircraft, and he basically called it a pile of shit. Now, when I spaded it, I was like, actually, Jenga, I think you'll find this aircraft's actually pretty good. And I pretty much got a very sarcastic response from him, but I appreciated the sarcasm. And obviously, when I sent my replay to Jamonkey, which I will leave a link to that in the description so you can have a look at what I got up to in this plane when I was spading it, Jenga, again, was just saying, like, oh, you had support kills, which to be fair, I did. But I still enjoyed the plane, and I found it to be much better than what he obviously said. Now, nowadays, I don't know, because, well, it's been about 2 years, give or take, since I've flown this aircraft. The closest aircraft I've flown to this was the Ki-109, and I am not touching that thing with a 10-foot barge pole. And yeah, I'd rather fly this over the Ki-109 any day of the bloody week, because at least this thing can do some work. So the Ki-108 is armed with Hairy Feet's favourite cannons, the Ho 204, even though, is it the Ho 201 or Ho 203 that he doesn't like? I think this is just a different subvariant. And the two 20mm Ho 5 cannons. And I will admit, I don't know how these cannons are going to work, to be brutally honest, but even so. To give a brief bit of history on this aircraft, as far as I'm aware, this was a one-off. Or it probably wasn't built at all, but from what I've been told, it's a one-off prototype. And it was essentially meant to be a high-altitude pressurized cockpit twin-engined aircraft, and it had good performance, as you can tell on the stat card there. It's got good performance, but the problem is that you've got to get it up there. And I don't think this good thing gets an air spawn. I don't remember it getting one. So we're going to have to be a bit more careful compared to other single-engine fighters and obviously twin-engine fighters. So for obvious reasons, we are going to use Universal, which is probably going to be my death. And obviously the 37 does not get access to any heat rounds or any armor-piercing rounds or anything like that. Given that the reputation that the 37mm has, we're probably not going to be getting much, but we'll see what we can do. So let's get jumping in, shall we? But yeah, I do actually think this aircraft is capable. It is just purely the fact that when Jenga released a video on it, and obviously I'd already spaded it by the time he did that video, and I was like, this aircraft's actually pretty good. Obviously, I didn't do anything like video-wise on it, but Jenga was like, yeah, this thing's a bag of shit, and I'm like, it's not a bag of shit, and we've had a good bit of banter about it ever since. Like, I think I might drop a sub request on him saying Ki-108 present from Joseph 2000 with a winky face. Might do that. But anyway, I'll see you all in the first game. And here we are, first game on Kalkin Goal. In other words, where we find the Russians and most likely the Chinese. And this thing does now get an air spawn. Perfect. I'm actually rather happy about that, because when I spaded it, I didn't get one. So there's that benefit. Because when I spaded it, you got a ground spawn, and this thing doesn't climb the best, is all I'll say. It was okay, but certainly could have been better. Feels nice to hear these engines again. I might just go back and watch that sub replay again, because it just felt like nice to have that luxury. So before I do anything, I'm actually going to unsplit the guns. You'll know why, is all I'll say. I'd rather have one Sparky cannon backed up by two Sparky-ish cannons. And yeah, the My Baby decals are because I love this thing. Like, I loved this thing back in the day. And this was actually the map where I... Well, sorry, no, it was, wasn't this map, it was, Zhengzhou that I got the Ace and the 43 ground targets on it. Yeah, I'll leave a link to that that battle in the description. There's a really good video. Oh, there's a team kill. Hooray! There's a really good video on Mark Felton Productions channel, and he went on about the B-29. It was a really good video, I have to admit. Well, that guy just looks to be running and dragging himself miles and miles above. I don't know what that is, but clearly it's been out climbing me this whole time. I'm gonna go for this yak here. Yep, he's being baited. It's a Yak 9K. Perfect. Bait yourself for me, Sonny Jim. And let's give you some 37 treatment. Oh, you motherfucker. I forgot to mention, this cannon, the 37mm cannon that this thing is equipped with, is actually rather unique. It has an unusual high rate of fire for its caliber. It's a bit like the MiG-15's 37mm. Except it fires just that bit quicker. Well, it's quite clear we're not going to be sitting at altitude for very long, so I'm just going to start making my way down here. Make sure he goes down first. LA7 down here. Zila, close your eyes, buddy. This is gonna get violent. Imagine if I actually met him flying his fucking LA7. I'd love to blow him out of the sky. That'd just be ironic. Ah, didn't get the shot there. This team is just wrecking their ass. I wish I had this luxury during this thing's spade. Way back then. Yep, got Chinese Mosquito. That's gonna be in trouble. But I never got this sort of team. I got like a good close-in sort of dogfighting sort of team. Like, it was 50-50 the whole game, and then it would just be the Japanese sometimes turning it around, the Allies sometimes turning it around. That was the sort of spade I had with this plane. Oh, well, looks like we're going to have to take this the boring route, and that's going to go for ground targets. Yeah, if you don't actually know what the 37mm is, I'll actually show it in this ground attack pass. You can see the fire rate is much higher on this variant of cannon than other 37mm that are equipped on Japanese aircraft. You gotta remember, this thing was meant to take down bombers, and it's gonna have a high rate of fire, so it can put a few shots on target with the 37 and the 20s, and then you can bugger off because the chances are the bomber's going down. Obviously, later in the war, the bombers became more and more protected, and this thing's lack of armor, well, real lack of armor. Why is that not working? There we go. I had to use the 20s then. Really came into its effect then. Because, well, this aircraft was basically has no armor. Oh god, hold on. There we go. But that's really where this aircraft came into its own. That's what it was meant to do, but obviously later in the war, it became a problem. Because, well, it was fighting B-29s, and the B-29s had remote gun turrets for twin 50 cals, and I think it was the forward one. The forward top turret was a quad 50 cal, so it was very unlikely this thing was going to intercept and shoot down a B-29 realistically. But if there's one thing you can do in the Ki-108 rather well, it's ground pound. This thing's a surprisingly good derping aircraft. The 20mm can take out the light tanks and the light pillboxes, it just takes a bit more than light pillboxes. The 37 can deal with the lighter targets, and I believe it can actually kill a pillbox if you put enough rounds to it. And even though we're not having the most stellar game, it's still a game that is what I would consider average for the Ki-108 when I was bloody spading it. Let's go for a twin 30, well, the 37 and 20mm gun pass here. The old pew-pews ain't gonna do much, mate. You can see, this is the kind of team I never got spading this aircraft. But yeah, all of a sudden I get it. really wish I had this sort of team spade in this thing. And what looks like the 37s ain't doing squat. I remember the 37 doing reasonable against ground targets, but I reckon they've nerfed it against pillboxes. It would seem that way. There we go. Oh, I'm not risking that. You see, this is what I had to do, plus the ace, in the battle that I sent to Jamunki, pretty much. But it feels nice to just fly this thing again. It's nice to fly. It turns nicely for a twin-engined aircraft, and it looks like Mr. Yak is just gonna run. Yep, we've got a runner. Of course we do. Looks like that is what's gonna be. Looks like that's what we're gonna have to deal with. Hopefully, he doesn't drag the game. There we go, that took a bit of ammo. Normally it doesn't take that much. But this is the thing, like, even if someone is running like this plane can do versatile work. It doesn't have to be an interceptor. It can work as a ground pounder, and you'll notice that in the Jamunki sub replay. Oh, that was close. Sub replay. You'll notice that, because I have to do that plus 5 kills. And there we go, that's me out of ammo. But that guy running and dragging the game ain't gonna do squat, because we can work him over. Right, well I need to throttle back now, because this is another weakness of this aircraft. If you ride the WEP and ride the 100% too long. If I remember rightly, there was actually a forum post about this aircraft, and basically 90, I think it was 90% or 80% for this aircraft is basically 100%, and WEP is, well, WEP is basically double WEP on this aircraft for like engine power. And look, he's continuing to run, this guy. He's not attempting to fight. I mean, fair enough, he's got like 5 aircraft on him, but he had the altitude advantage. He chose to waste it. And I don't know what the other aircraft is, though. I think it was the PE-8, but even so. Right, well, quite clearly this is going to be one of those matches where it's going to have to be versatility all the way. So I'll see you all in a few moments. Oh, you know, join me back at the airfield. Unfortunately, as I get wheels up, the PE-8 died, so not the most stellar game for this aircraft, but unfortunately that's just the way it works sometimes. We did have a mid-air collision that happened whilst I was quiet and everything, between that Ki-43 and an A6M5 who deliberately rammed him to try and be a troll, it would seem. But yeah, not the most stellar performance. I mean, to some that may not be the most exciting and stuff like that, but that's just the way it works sometimes. And to be honest, that is what I had to do sometimes in the Ki-108 when I was spading it. And that's just the way it has to be sometimes, I'm afraid. So if you was looking for ace in a day and stuff like that, I'm sorry about that, but don't worry. I've already put the link in the description of the of Jamunki's sub replay. So if you need your fix for the Ki-108 again, you can just go look at that. If you do want me to take another go at this aircraft, I probably will, but considering that's most of the games I get in this thing, I don't think it's going to be any more interesting. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all on the next one.